The worst Puerto Rican in history. I'm telling you, in Puerto Rican history, by the way, go Bills. The worst Puerto Rican in history. His name was Luis Muñoz Marin, our first governor. Luis Muñoz Marin, born in February of 1898, the same year as my hero, Pedro Albizu Campo. Pedro Albizu Campo was born in Machuela Abajo, Ponce, Puerto Rico. Luis Muñoz Marin, I forgot where he was born, but he was the worst Puerto Rican in history. This is why. His father, Luis Muñoz Rivera, El Cantor, the best Puerto Rican in history. He was a teacher, a poet, the head of a movement in Puerto Rico. He owned a newspaper. So he sent his son, Luis Muñoz Marin. Get the difference in the name? Luis Muñoz Rivera, Luis Muñoz Marin. He sent Luis Muñoz Marin to school, to America, to become a lawyer. Luis Muñoz Marin said, no, I don't want to be a lawyer now that he's in New York. I want to be an actor. And he was always getting arrested for doing opium in opium dens in New York. So J. Edgar Hoover went up to Luis Muñoz Marin and said, listen, I'm going to arrest you for life. He had been arrested many times, Luis Muñoz Marin. Told him, you're going to run for governorship and do everything I tell you. He went for the governorship, won against Pedro Albizu Campo in 1950. The first thing he did was raise opium in the garden. Second thing he did was make the Puerto Rican flag and this flag, the Lares, the Grito de Lares flag, illegal officially. Third thing he did was enact what's called the Bootstrap Act. Get it? Bootstrap Act of Luis Muñoz Marin. Actually, he was doing the bidding of the FBI and the CIA. The Bootstrap Act. It was a paper by the FBI written, in order to pacify Puerto Rico, you must get rid of at least 1 million Puerto Ricans. Now, Luis Muñoz Marin, scumbag as he was still trying to say, okay, how about if we send them to Mexico or other countries? America said, nope, nope. You got to bring them to America so we could subjugate them and stuff. So, there goes the Bootstrap Act of 1950. Luis Muñoz Marin sold us out. You know, for money, for heroin. Again, Luis Muñoz Marin, the worst Puerto Rican in history. You could say, it was Toño Bicicleta, this guy. No, that guy sold our whole country and everybody for heroin and for money. The last thing he did, he gave a famous speech. Luis Muñoz Marin saying, I'm leaving Puerto Rico so the smart ones could take advantage of the stupid Puerto Ricans. That was Luis Muñoz Marin, the worst Puerto Rican in history. He actually, his father sent him to America. Instead of becoming a lawyer, he decides he wants to be an actor, Luis Muñoz Marin, and then he decides that he wants to be smoking opium. He got arrested, Luis Muñoz Marin, smoking opium more than 30 times in New York. Confirmed through Freedom of Information Acts. And through also because COINTELPRO was watching. When he died, we found out that the FBI had 6 million pages on Pedro Albizu Campo. It also had 4 million pages on Luis Muñoz Marin every time he went out and smoked opium. You know what I'm saying? So this is how we know Luis Muñoz Marin was an opium addict, because the FBI, Freedom of Information Acts, how we also found out that we were looking for information on him and found out that they had 6.5 million pages on him. I mean, where he went, everywhere, his friends. So that's how we found that the first governor of Puerto Rico was a CIA, FBI informant. They told him, you're going to rot in jail, J. Edgar Hoover told Luis Muñoz Marin, or you do whatever we tell you. So research, because that's the first thing Luis Muñoz Marin did. First, grow heroin poppies in the mayor's garden. Second, make it was called the gag law that made any Puerto Rican flag with these colors, with the light color, illegal. third one, what he called the El Acto, the Bootstrap Act. I forgot how to say it in Spanish, but basically, that's what the FBI called it, the piece of paper. He just switched it to the Bootstrap Law or the Bootstrap Act. But it was Operation Bootstrap by the FBI. So they wanted to get rid of 1 million Puerto Ricans, mainly the ones who wanted to learn, and then, you know, divide and conquer. So now you're learning a little bit of history. Don't forget, if you don't know your Puerto Rican history, my people, you will know how great people like him, the first Puerto Rican lawyer from Harvard Law in 1921, was a Puerto Rican. He spoke 8 languages. He was a lieutenant in World War I. He actually helped to draft the Irish Free State Constitution, you know, with his friend, an Irish friend that started the Sinn Féin party, the IRA, you know, a great Puerto Rican hero. And the worst Puerto Rican person, our first governor, Luis Muñoz Marin. Heroin addict, sold us out. And now you learn the 3 things he did. The worst one to me was that one, because he really sold our country out, you know, with that bootstrap